call this meeting to order. We have a moment of silence, please. Let's rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Steve, roll call.
Thank you. Councilperson Boyd?
Here.
Councilperson Papachek?
Here.
Councilperson Canafari?
Here.
Councilperson Sarsfield?
Here.
Councilperson Freshwater?
Here.
Council President Demko?
Here.
Mayor Rowley?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay, right now, if there's any public comments on the list of motions, if anybody wants to come up, you have 3 minutes to make your comment or discuss what you'd like to discuss on any of the motions on the agenda.
Hello, I'm Susan McMahon, from the Borough Restaurant, 335 East Main Street, Carnegie. I would like to comment on ordinance 2452. Is that the ordinance that you discussed regarding the food truck situation here in Carnegie? Can you tell me, has this ordinance been listed anywhere, or has there been any advertisement or notification to Carnegie about this ordinance?
Stephen?
Yes, Steve.
We're required to put an advertisement in our paper, the Post Gazette, 7 days prior to anything, and it was advertised.
Because your agenda was not on your website as of 6:30 tonight.
It was up there today. Sometimes when you go on the website, I don't know why it didn't come up, but I know that it was on there.
It was not as far as 6:30 tonight. I checked multiple computers and multiple servers, so not on there tonight. But I would like to state that I believe that this ordinance is not legal in the way that it is being presented. I believe that this is a zoning ordinance and not a general ordinance, because food trucks are essentially a land use issue, and I believe that that is not how you have approached this. And as a land use issue, they are essentially takeout restaurants, and they should be under the same ordinances and provisions and regulations that all restaurants are under, and including lot size and appropriate parking spaces.
We understand what kind of your opinion that zoning ordinance, these aren't land use issues. Actually, these are not land use
Can everybody
issues
please
because
speak up?
these are mobile food trucks. The ordinance is not anticipating using designated private property, but they are anticipating using as parking spaces, so they will fall within the parking realm, the permitting realm of our ordinances. That's where they have been, and that's where they will remain.
I respectfully disagree with you.
Okay.
If we have to sort this out in a form of any done, that's what we intend to do. And represent not just our restaurant, but many of the restaurants here in the community in the class action plan. So that's why that's what I want to know before we proceed with this. Thank you.
Anybody else? Councilman Canafori.
Good evening, everybody. The first motion is motion to approve the minutes from the council meeting on April 9th, April 16th, and May 7th, 2018.
Second. We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Motion to adopt ordinance 2452, an ordinance of the Borough of Carnegie, County of Allegheny County, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, amending Part 4, Chapter 13, Section 402 of the Borough Code of Ordinance related to licenses, permits, permits, and general business regulations.
Second.
Could you read the ordinance out loud, please?
Do you have a copy of that, Jody?
Borough of Carnegie ordinance number 2452. An ordinance of the Borough of Carnegie, County of Allegheny, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, amending Chapter 13, Part 4 of the Borough Code of Ordinances and regulating the operation of mobile vehicular vendors in the borough. Now, vote for be it ordained and enacted by the Borough of Carnegie, Allegheny County, Pennsylvania as follows.
Could you slow down? I can't understand you.
Yeah, we can't read.
One, Chapter 13, Part 4, Section 402 of the Borough Code of Ordinances is hereby amended as set forth below. Chapter 13, Point 4, peddlers, canvassers, and transit street merchants. 13-402, definitions. When used in this part, the following terms shall have the following meanings. Canvasser, any person, whether a resident of the Borough of Carnegie or not, other than the stationary vehicular vendor or mobile vehicular vendor who goes from house to house, from place to place, or from street to street, soliciting or attempting to take orders from individuals for sales of goods, wares, or merchandise, including magazines, books, periodicals, or personal property of any nature whatsoever for future delivery, or for service to be performed at the time or in the future, whether or not such individual has, carries, or exposes for sale a sample of the subject of such order, or whether or not he is collecting advance payments on such orders. Peddler and transit merchant, any person, whether a resident of the Borough of Carnegie or not, other than a stationary vehicular vendor or a mobile vehicular vendor, who goes from house to house, from place to place, or street to street, conveying or transporting goods, wares, or merchandise, or offering or exposing the same for sale, or making sales and delivering parts to purchasers. Mobile vehicular vendor, any person, whether a resident of the Borough of Carnegie or not, who sells or offers for sale goods, wares, merchandise, meats, fish, vegetables, fruits, garden truck, farm products, or provisions from an approved vending vehicle at a specific and permitted vehicular vendor location. Roman numeral 2, Chapter 13, Part 4, Section 409 of the Borough Code of Ordinances is hereby amended as set forth below. 13-409, use of the street and time restrictions. 1. No licensee shall have any exclusive right to any location in the public streets, nor shall any be permitted a stationary location thereon, nor shall any be permitted to operate in a congested area where such operations might impede or inconvenience the public use of such streets or sidewalks. 2. No licensee or permit holder shall be permitted to solicit on Sunday, not before 9 a.m. or after 9 p.m. prevailing time on weekdays or Saturdays. 3. Stationary vehicular vendors shall be limited to utilizing designated assigned stalls at the borough-owned parking lot on East Main Street and set forth in attachment 1. Stalls shall be assigned to stationary vehicular vendors licensed in accordance with Chapter 13, Part 4 of the Carnegie Borough Code of Ordinances on a first-come basis, beginning at 8 a.m. on the morning of intended use, and any assignment shall be put only for the day of the assignment. 4. Any stationary vehicular vendor operating under this part shall also be responsible for the proper disposal and ensure the proper removal of any and all trash created as a result of the operation of their business. Period. 3. Roman numeral 3, severability. In the event that any phrase, clause, sentence, paragraph, or section of this ordinance shall, for whatever reason whatsoever, be declared invalid, unconstitutional, or otherwise unenforceable by judgment or decree of any competent court jurisdiction, it is the express intent of the council and mayor that such invalidity, unconstitutionality, or other finding of any section of this ordinance to be unenforceable, Such a finding shall not have any impact on the remaining phrases, clauses, sentences, paragraphs, or sections of the ordinance, any that, to the greatest extent allowed by law. All remaining phrases, clauses, sentences, paragraphs, and sections of the ordinance shall remain valid, constitutional, enforceable, and maintain full force and effect of law. Roman numeral 4, repealing. It is the intention of the Borough Council of the Borough of Carnegie that all ordinances that are in conflict with this ordinance are hereby repealed. Additionally, any prior agreements between the Borough and the Bureau that conflict with the provision of this ordinance are repealed. Further, all other provisions of Chapter 13 of the Borough Code of Ordinances not specifically mentioned in this ordinance shall remain the same to the extent they are not inconsistent with this ordinance. Roman numeral 5. Authority. The authority for this ordinance is found in 8 PACS 1202(1), 2, 5, 8, and 20. And there's a picture of where the stalls will be.
You can't see the picture. Can you pass it around, please?
Is there anything in that ordinance related to the number of permits and number of food trucks and the operating times?
Yes.
How many trucks did you say?
How many stalls are over? 3 to 4. It depends on the size of the trucks. I think there's 3 or 4 on the picture stall, room with 3 or 4 apart.
They're limited to that.
And the hours are 9 to 9.
You said 9 to 9 on Sunday.
No, they can't have them on Sunday.
Is that, can I ask about that on Sunday, is that true on private property? Just the borough property?
We can't do anything about private property.
I'm sorry, you can't do anything about private property?
For us to regulate on private property, that would be a zoning issue.
I'm sorry?
That would be a zoning issue for us to regulate on private property.
So you do regulate private property, is that
No.
correct?
There is no regulation of private property for food trucks right now.
That's a land use issue. Of course there's regulation. Every business in Carnegie is on private property.
We don't regulate food trucks on private property at this point.
What trucks do you regulate?
We don't regulate trucks beyond the Pennsylvania motor vehicle.
So I can get a food truck and sell corn from it on my own private property. You can't do anything about it. Is that what you're saying?
Actually, we've been considering this, and because Carnegie Borough has said they don't regulate private property, we have looked into the possibility of getting a stripper truck and parking it in our warehouse in the back, because I think it's going to be a little more lucrative than selling bacon. So if you're telling me that Carnegie Borough doesn't regulate private property because that doesn't fall under the zoning ordinances, I think we also are going to have a big Pandora's box from that.
Well, a stripper truck would be against the zoning regulations.
Oh, that's against it.
That is
Food
against
trucks
it.
are accepted.
Well, there's nothing in it about food trucks. There isn't there about adult entertainment.
About what, I'm sorry?
Adult entertainment.
Adult entertainment. Well, I think we'll be arguing that again tomorrow morning.
So there's 12 spaces being taken up for food trucks with the parking issue in Carnegie. Is that a good idea? What's the reason behind that? Take away food spots on a crawl night when we need the most parking. I don't understand. Please explain that to me. Somebody. That's outstanding.
I mean, here's the thing. This council, me and Ms. Demko have the longest tenure here. And from our inception on council, we've always done our best to work with each and every business. No matter what decision we make, there's going to be some anti and some pro. No matter what the issue, okay? The thing with food trucks, I serve is lays onto our card. This isn't just a Carnegie issue, it's community-wide.
it's Neville Island, it's Coriopolis, and this is newfound business. And every community is trying to find the best way to handle this. And it's a consensus that what we've done with this ordinance would have the most positive effect, because it's in a parking lot, it's not along the main street. Our concern was a safety issue. Having a food truck along Main Street, people potentially walking out into traffic, those types of things. I understand that everybody may not like the ordinance, but we spent a lot of time, okay, tireless hours trying to find and adopt an ordinance that we felt would work best for the community.
What if you don't have them? What's the loss? What's going to happen then?
If what?
If you don't have food trucks at all, what's going to happen?
We already have an ordinance for trucks, though. We already have an ordinance for
This
trucks.
isn't a new
This
ordinance.
isn't new.
The
This is
only
already
thing we
been
did
enacted.
was,
May I go on record again? We are talking about the legality of this, and you are talking about the consensus of what feels right to Carnegie.
Food trucks were already allowed.
Yes.
They've been allowed. All we did was amend the ordinance.
No,
So
you
if it was
also-
illegality,
Excuse me, you also allowed food trucks on private property. And I stood in front of this council 2 months ago, and you all assured me that there were no permits, every one of you knowing full well that you were going to allow a food truck on Main Street on private
we
property.
didn't grant a permit because that was on private property. We
But
don't
that-
give permits
that, I
on private
believe,
property.
that is, you are not enforcing your zoning organizations. That's a land use issue. You let somebody open a business on private property without any permitting and any licensing, or any of the things that all of the people in this room that had to do. We put capital investment into Carnegie, and we abide by your laws, and we have brought a lot of good things to Carnegie. You have, you're not abiding by your laws, and that's what we are going to act on, because we are able to act on that. So this is not, I don't care what goes on in other boroughs, and other issues, other places. We're talking about here in our livelihoods and the money that we've invested here. And we expect you to protect our business the way, it's not only your inclination, it should be your obligation to protect the people that are in business here at Carnegie. And you're not protecting us. You are circumventing rules, circumventing laws to allow outside transient vendors that pay zero to Carnegie outside of potentially a $50 permit to come in here and take our business. This Friday, 3 days ago, we were $1,000 under revenue from previous Fridays because of the food trucks here. And that is significant to us, absolutely significant. And we're going to attempt to recover that. And we're going to recover it from the people that are not protecting us, whose job it is to protect us.
The food trucks that are here are typically representing a business that is a brick and mortar store, that are paying taxes, that are investing into the community.
And I completely
And so to say that
They're
there's
not
not an
food
investment,
businesses. They are not food businesses.
I understand, and there's not applicable space or whatever for them to do that.
Capital investment. If they want it to be a food business, they should be a food business. They should put $250 into a room. They should employ the 20 people it takes to run a kitchen and make the investment and be a food business. I would welcome that. And also pay the taxes accordingly for that food business. But that's not the situation. They are alcohol distilling businesses, and that's what their license is. And I'm happy they're here. I welcome them. But they are not food businesses, and that's what we are. We made the capital investment. You're not protecting us. Instead, you are somehow trying to appease, I don't know what you're doing, really. I don't know what you're doing, but whatever it is, I don't believe it's legal, and we've acquired representation, and we will be moving forward with that.
So this little red box right here is where the food trucks are going to be.
yes.
So I'm not going to be as flexible as Susan is. My husband has owned a pharmacy in Carnegie for over 20 years. And 5 years ago, he spent $500,000 renovating the old post office. And believe me, I think that that was the beginning of the new Carnegie. Food trucks coming in during the crawl, that's one thing. But if every day during the week, food, that's not my understanding. My understanding is that every day.
That's not it.
Okay, but it's
The ordinance doesn't say that.
like very boring.
Events,
through all
for
the
certain
other
events.
It's my understanding that the food trucks are able to come at any time. Am I wrong about that?
Qualify what certain events means, that's what your ordinance is not clear. You can't, unless you define what certain events is, you can't pass that ordinance and say it's legal. Certain events could be Wednesdays, because those are certain events.
And no one, it seems like no one has a real answer here. I'm trying to understand because our rent is like,
No, this ordinance would allow anybody to come in and use one of those stalls Monday to Saturday night.
okay.
Assuming they get a permit.
If they get.
Okay.
So what special events then?
Do we deny the permits?
Do we have the right to reserve to deny?
Well, why would you do that?
I'm not comfortable relying on your judgment for denying permits, frankly.
You would have the right to deny a permit if the person did not, was not working with the person. There would be certain conditions for, that you would be able to deny a permit.
Otherwise, we would have to grant it.
Well, you'd have to be able to articulate the reason why you would deny it.
Because it hurts the people who made the investment in this town in the first place. Because them coming in, and I spoke with the guy at brick and mortar over the weekend, I go there for lunch often, I support his brick and mortar business. And I also ate food from his food truck on Friday night. I wanted to go over and say hi, I wasn't gonna be rude and not order food. So here's the thing. If they can come at any time between 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. during the week, when we are open, when bacon is open, when Slice is open, I spoke to Rico today, that affects our business. And if it's 5 people, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, go and spend $50 at the food trucks on a single day, on a given day, that's a huge portion of my lunch business. And so I just want to be assured that that's not going to happen. Because when the post office is closed, that's going to be a really sad thing for Carnegie.
Okay.
It's hard enough to make money in the food business. I think you guys should try to open your eyes to that. And the reason food trucks can do it is because they pay $50 and they make $500. We have rents that are out of it. You guys probably don't know, but we know.
Well, we pay a mortgage, we pay taxes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand it. Like Mike, you're
Okay,
saying
this is-
the food trucks are really
The thing about the weekdays is, okay, those parking spaces are already permitted out, okay? So we can't give a permit.
They're not
To-
permitted in post office side. That's public purpose.
Okay.
None of them.
Here's the challenge that we have, and I hope you appreciate this. We can't bar them completely.
Why?
Why not?
Yeah, why not? You can't,
Other
you're going to tell them
townships
they
do.
can't come to business, can't come to Carnegie?
Absolutely you can.
Yeah.
What we have is a problem without an ordinance. They can set up anywhere they want.
You just
They
told
could
them you
go,
already have
hold
one.
on, without an ordinance, they could go and set up anywhere on Main Street they want. Pay 50 cents to park the truck there for a couple hours and do whatever they want.
That's just not true.
That is true, that's absolutely true. If they pay for the parking spot, they can go, they can sit there. What we're trying to do is figure out a way.
They can sit there, but they can't open for business.
Yes, they
The moment
can.
they open for business, they are under your jurisdiction. The minute they put that flap up, they're under your jurisdiction. They can sit there all they want.
If there was no ordinance.
No, in any situation.
No, you're wrong.
I believe you're
Can I state an example? 5 years ago, when I first opened, I brought in a mobile boutique. And I was told by Borough Council representative, I was not able to have that boutique because it was compete with the other local businesses. At the time, no one in Carnegie sold dresses. So I thought it would be really cool to have this person come. She had to apply for a permit, at least that's what I was told by Joanne Letcher, that she had to apply for a permit in order to park in the East Main parking lot on a Sunday afternoon. So you're telling me that that ordinance didn't exist, and what was Joanne talking about?
I do recall the part of me that truck being here, and she did apply and gave me all the information that was required at that time.
Okay, so there is some, but you're saying that anybody can pull up, that's
No, what I
not.
was saying
No,
is-
he's saying
what I'm
without,
saying
if
is
we
if there
didn't have
was
any
no
ordinance at all, anybody could do it. That's why we have to have an ordinance for that.
But you
To
also
address-
said there was an ordinance that, did you not have a food truck be forced to leave last year because they didn't have a permit at Apis? Wasn't there a food truck that was asked to leave last year because they didn't have a permit? Because you said there is an ordinance. So is there an ordinance or is there not?
There is an existing ordinance.
We had a
have
permit.
amended.
We had a permit. The failure was on the boroughs and not ours. We had everything necessary to cash our check. it's negligible regardless. There's businesses in this area that have been here, they're grandfathered in a way, that if we want to put something on private property, I don't really care as far as food trucks on the street. I'm with you guys. I think if it's unsafe, then get rid of them. But telling me what I can and can't put on my private property, that's absurd.
Well, because then anyone could open anything on any piece of private
No,
property.
they can't. There's a rule. Yeah, just, you have to just listen to what
No, that's not real.
If you own your property, you're allowed to do that.
we have just as big of an investment as both of you guys. I'm sorry, we're on the same
Things
side.
that are against the law or other laws.
But if we have our own
I'm not
property,
saying that you shouldn't put a food truck on your private property. I'm talking about this specific place right here and things that are directly competing with people.
You understand, right, you understand that, yeah, that's, yeah. Yeah, everybody has.
The designated spot in the lot came about because of the safety issues on Main Street. And just to say that, quite frankly, going forward, you're probably only going to see 2 food trucks, and they're both going to be on private property. The goal of Carnegie is to not become a food truck center. I mean, we don't want to attract them. There was one at this crawl because there were concerns with the loss of Papa J's. There was the only 2 places that you're really going to see food trucks are going to be off Main Street and on private property. And we don't have food trucks that are calling and saying, oh, we want to come to Carnegie. And people aren't
The minute
trying.
they hear this, they will. The minute they hear this, they can come and apply in the morning, they'll be here. There are 50, 100 food trucks in Pittsburgh right now, always looking for somewhere to come, they'll be here.
And they're in other upcoming thriving communities like Millvale and Bellevue and all of those places. We want our Carnegie businesses to thrive, but we would never ban food trucks when we have 2 establishments in particular that have the room to put them on their private property and would do it for events when people are down here, when that's going on. The intention is not to punish the other businesses. And I have to be honest, if all of the businesses that banded together and they all signed a petition and they came before council and everybody across the board disagreed, then I think that would be something to really raise to council's attention. But when it is, out of all of the businesses that we have, I haven't even had 3.
You do right now. Bacon, Carnegie Coffee, and Slice. That's right.
Slice is not anti-food truck at all. We talked to them today.
Yeah, they're not
They
anti-food
just
truck.
said to us.
I was on the phone with Rico on my way.
And
He
we
said
were on the
to
phone
Jason-
today
he said
too,
to
so
Jason-
Rico isn't here, let's not speak for Rico then, let's not put Rico's on.
They didn't even know this was coming to council today.
And
Those 2 were not even aware that this was an issue at council today.
can I clarify one thing really quickly? The thing that was passed today was basically to ban food trucks on public property in
Hasn't been
every
passed. I
area.
know that
Please let me
right now.
finish. On every area except for the designated area that is given to everyone in this room. Now, unless somebody chooses, as a business, to produce that food truck, meaning call them, get them, pay for them, and put them specifically in front of Rico or Carnegie Coffee.
It is.
But wait, let me finish. Who is going to specifically do that? We as a company or not? I can't name, everybody's opposed to it. So who's going to do it? Who's going to pay the money and put a food truck in front of your place?
La Prima Espresso has a traveling espresso bar. What if they decide to come and do?
They're going to pay for their own? Okay, that's understandable. I was just saying as a business in Carnegie that isn't on private property,
I think we want to get
no
our
one's going to
spirits
produce
checked
that
out.
in this area.
I mean, what about, like, if Adams comes down and parks in front of us and it's like, I know that Rico will not be happy about that. And I know that
Understood,
he posted at PNC Park because he pays a lot of money to be there.
We
He's not
don't
like
have
someone
enough
across
foot
the
traffic
street.
in this area for Bados to be coming down and hanging out. You're not going to get Blues Fair, you're not going to get Gyros and that. The point is, somebody has to put up the cash up front, and unless, why would Bados, as a business, want to go against Slice? They're both in the same vein. No one's going to say, you know, I'm going to give $50, even though I have a brick and mortar and a food truck that can park in any borough without any instance. Why would I give $50 to park in front of Slice when I'm going to get half the thing? No matter what, you're going to choose
I
your
don't
favorite
know.
pizza spot.
I feel like
But there's just clarification necessary that it is banned everywhere except for this thing, and somebody would have to produce that thing. So,
It's
if they're
out
not
there,
in
there
this
are
room.
100 trucks in Pittsburgh right now that will come to the crawl as soon as they hear, get their first one Friday morning, and you can get a permit. There'll be 2 more food trucks here
It's
instead
only
of 2
for
here.
locations. It's only
Food
for
trucks are parking.
locations for trucks, that's the point. We're
And
trying
now
to protect you in that manner.
That you're
You're not
here to
protecting
limit
us
it.
whatsoever.
now you're allowing.
Open a
private
restaurant and see what it
property
feels
in
like.
there. Putting them on private property, and that is violating your zoning code, because you are allowing a freestanding takeout restaurant to open without any legislation, any kind of zoning from you, and that's not what happened on my private property when I wanted to open a restaurant. I went through a year and a half of hoops and ladders and health department and sprinkler codes and $1 million to make that happen. And
I have a full-scale kitchen in the new building. We went through every single thing you have.
I'm happy.
And we're still allowing it on our own property because it brings people to our community.
But we already have an ordinance, is what we're saying. The ordinance is already out there. If people wanted to come and bring their trucks right now, they could park them anywhere. That's the point. We were trying to find a way to protect the businesses by only having so many spaces and put them in a safe place. Because as of right now, the way the ordinance is written, people can come from anywhere, get a permit, park anywhere. That could lead to hundreds of trucks. We don't see that happening because it hasn't been happening. That ordinance is already out there. It's not a problem. We're trying to find a way, and if you have a sick, we aren't going to ban them, but we were trying to find a way to work hand in hand because we do care to make it safe, to make it limited by how many can come, and the limited times that they'll be there. Can you offer us something?
Yes, you all said to me that you would not have them in the business district. Each one of you said that a month ago.
No, we said we would not be on Main, not on Main Street.
In Main Street.
Yes.
So you think 3 feet off of Main Street on the sidewalk is not Main Street? Because you are qualifying that without any regard to the business. So your solution is not good, and I believe your solution to allow food trucks on private property in the business district that's regulated by your zoning ordinances is illegal. So you have 2 issues, and I think you need to address both of them. And have you voted on something already, and now you want to adopt it? Is that what's happening?
We have not
We're
voted on
voting on it right
Because I
now.
think that's what you said. And, or raise the permit fee to $1,000. Because then you get some benefit from having a food truck here, and you will scare away the food truck, so your problem is gone.
Okay, we need to move on.
I'd like to say something. I'm not in the food business, but instead of allowing the food trucks to be here every day, why don't you limit it to Mondays when the restaurants are closed? It's not taking away business from them. It might bring some other people in, take a look at the community, and see what really this community has to offer. I think it would be a good solution. If you're going to have a farmer's market, maybe allow them to do it with the farmer's market. But it might solve a few problems with, I think, the owners that have concerns about food trucks being here all the time.
Okay, the thing is, during the week, if anybody applies for a permit for a food truck during the week, we're not going to let that happen. We'll deny the permit.
We can't deny it.
We can, yes, we can.
Joe just said we cannot deny it unless we have good reason.
Yeah, we do have good reason because we need parking spots for our business.
That's not good reason.
Because you need them on the weekend too. They'll simply argue that you need spaces on the weekend too. If you're denying them during the week, I want you to deny them every crawl, because I need those spaces.
So if we're not going to ban food trucks, would a solution be that there's just not a designated spot for them? They can't be on Main Street and there's no designated spot. I'm trying to figure out what is the best solution, because we're not banning them. So with that being said, that's what we want to hear feedback. How do we limit this to protect you and to allow these businesses that have them on their private property to let them have it?
I see no way that they can have them on their private property without going through the same zoning regulation that we do. I see no way around that for you or for them from a legal standpoint.
Joe, they're allowed to be
We have
in
nothing within our zoning ordinance.
the ban that says they can't be there. We do have stuff in our zoning ordinance that bans stripper trucks and those types of
It's
things.
a land use situation, and I think that'll hold up in court, and we'll find out, because we're going to find out with that. But my solution is, you can allow them in Carnegie Park. You can allow them in this parking lot. You can have food truck roundups right here if you want.
So we would be designating them to another area. You just don't like the designated
I
area.
don't like it anywhere in the walking area of the business district because that affects my brick and mortar business and every other restaurant in this room. We put the money and invested into Carnegie. It takes away business from me. It actually takes money out of our till and gives it to someone who's paid nothing to be here and has no investment whatsoever. You don't reduce my taxes.
The brick and
accordingly,
mortar
but
that
that's it.
are getting them did make an investment here. And I have
But
to
they're
say
not
that if someone is
restaurants.
coming, where we all, listen, if it's the two that have them on their own private property, we're not trying to just attract other food trucks. We were trying to limit them. But if someone is coming out and they know they're going to go to a food truck and buy a $7 gyro versus going to 131 or bacon or something that they're going to have either a reservation or spend significantly more money, I think that's something that's predetermined.
That's not what happens. What happens is they come and we have a line and they walk down the street and we say, go have a drink at Apis, go to Quantum. And then they go and have a drink and they say, let's just eat here. So they don't come back to us, they eat there. And frankly, just one moment, I'm not finished yet. And when you say you can't, they're allowed on private property, I have an issue with that. I think you're saying they have a business and they invested in their particular niche. That's what they invested. Their capital investment is in their distilling, and they put money in it and they do a great job with it. And if they want to be a restaurant, then put the capital investment in to do that we did. I don't try to be a distiller. I don't put a distilling truck outside of my business and try to prevent them from going down the street when I have a line outside. Hey, don't go anywhere, stay right here and drink.
It comes down to us being responsible, is really what it comes down to.
And we serve full-fledged restaurants.
We realize there's tons of restaurants around the area. If they don't want to walk through restaurants, they're not in the mood for this or that. At least we have something out front that we're trying to provide, food, so they have something while they're drinking and they're being safe.
You're not responsible for your patrons. Your business is...
We are responsible for our
Absolutely.
Okay, no more,
Then you
no
should
more.
put it in...
Every single person that comes in,
You should make a distillery. What do you mean?
Can I just
Do what we
make a
should do.
suggestion
Joanne?
for the crawls? How about this? I wasn't even going to have another food truck back. I don't think Bird Bites did enough business that they would want to come back anyhow. Could you, for the crawls, because I've come down to your business last year and it was an hour wait to get in during the crawl. Could you possibly do what Riley's has done in the past to speed things up? Could you have an outside grill, bring it into the street, and maybe do some quick burgers and things to get people eating and moving along? Because my biggest fear is eventually it's going to happen. Without having Papa J's here, and you guys can testify, I mean, we're at Papa J's a lot. They've brought in a ton of people. Without having them there, I am very afraid as the crawl goes along and people can't get fed, they will go elsewhere. So I'm asking your help this year. Can you start feeding people on the sidewalk? Can you guys stay open for the crawl?
Well, I have something that might complement what you're saying. So during the INSEGA Ceramics Conference, we did $10,000 more in business than we usually do, which is like really, really amazing in coffee, food, and if you don't sell alcohol, that is. And there were no food trucks, and there also wasn't Papa J's during INSEGA. It was a 2-week period, and it was really amazing. We were really busy. I'm sure you guys were extremely busy during that too, during that 2-week period in March. So I don't understand why now it's suddenly like, oh, we need to supplement with food trucks. This doesn't.
Well, you're not open crawl nights. You
That's
close
true,
yourself.
because it has never been working for us to sell $2 items until 9 o'clock at night.
Could you consider staying open this
Not
year
if
and
Bird
doing
Bites
something?
is across the street. You know what I mean? Like, not if this is happening, but maybe.
Well, I'm
not
saying
this is-
for an alternative. We don't have food trucks, but I'm going to ask that some businesses that aren't open during the crawl, or that it's a long wait for your place, to be honest. I've tried several times getting in during a crawl, and it's been an hour wait, and I leave. If you guys could put it on the sidewalk like Jim Riley does, if you could stay open, I mean, the first couple of years, you're open for the crawl, and you guys were packed. I mean, would you?
It's like, it's
It's different. I mean, the crawl is booming now.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm asking for your help. We all got to do a little give and take.
I would say yes to that, but not if this is happening. Because it's just completely unfair.
Well, I mean, we can work around it. If I knew you were going to be open, if I knew Bacon could offer a quick service on crawl nights, because it is crawl night, and we're trying to...
Do you want people on the street?
We want people on the streets. We don't really want them coming into your restaurant for an hour and a half.
Of course you do, that's the point of the crawl, to attract people to Carnegie. Of course you want them to come in our restaurant. Are we not participating in the crawl?
2 hours.
But they can't handle what's coming in the door. There's
Yeah,
a waiting line.
I've tried to
Just
come in
wanting
your
you, they're
place,
asking
yeah.
you, hey, just make some sandwiches or whatever, and a little bit different price point, and you'd be set.
Question, what happens if we could try and tweak the ordinance to the designated area limited to, if it were, like you had mentioned, the farmer's market, because we are going to start that and it'll be on Sunday. A farmer's market or borough events or a crawl or, because like I said, food trucks are not asking to come here and no one will bring them in. Like no one, you know, to be in that designated spot.
Mayor, I think you're mistaken. When the food trucks hear that they can come, they're going to be lining up to come here for the crawl, and anything that says you have designated spots for food.
So they're already allowed to come here.
They're already.
That's the
And
idea.
now they can go anywhere. They could pull up in front of me and literally
It's actually really.
do it
hard.
right in front of your space.
You just said, unless they have a permit, you're not going to let them come here.
Yeah, but they could.
But they-
We're talking about the
If we don't limit
ordinance
it
that we have right now in place. That's why we need to change it. The ordinance we have now says they can go anywhere, do anything, and be
The
in.
Sunday thing is a little bit strange, because that's when you might want to have an event and you wouldn't be competing with the businesses.
Right.
Yeah,
So
well, it's
I
a
would
Sunday.
say it needs to be looked
That
at a little
is-
more carefully, because, I mean, we had a food truck on a Sunday for an event. It was some,
And there's gonna be food trucks up at Dogapalooza in the park.
But we're
There's-
fine. They don't compete with us. No one wants from the
That's fine if they don't compete, but you want them banned, but we can't ban them if we want them at those other,
No, I don't want them on the Main Street Business District. That's where I don't want food trucks, where you already have people that have brick and mortar places that are paying
But,
taxes.
ma'am, appreciate that right now, the way the ordinance is right now, they could come tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock, pay Steve $25 for a permit, and come go pay for the parking spots right outside your restaurant and sit there.
Because I saw Carnegie Police had no parking signs up there for the crawl, to save the spots for them.
what spot? They're not, no, the only spot that was taken was Bird Bites. The other spot that was blocked off was because the Death March band wanted to march in the street and that was unsafe. So we blocked off one spot so that they could be on the sidewalk and out there for the last day of Flying Squirrel. I don't know where you had mentioned earlier 12 spots for food trucks. There was one at Quantum and one at Apis and Bird Bites in the designated area.
We said on your proposal, you blocked off 12 spots.
No, there's 3 to 4.
Or max.
Depending, there's probably 4, but if the food trucks are too large and only 2 can fit there, or only 3 can fit within those 4 spots, because, you know, they're different sizes.
it's like parking places, but it doesn't translate to 4 trucks or 3 trucks.
So 12 parking
Giving
spaces
us
for
more
him.
parking
No,
spaces, yes.
it's a long, did you see where the Bird Bites was Friday night?
I did.
It's along there. That's it. It's not other parking spaces, it's just right along.
It's a parking spot, right?
Yeah.
Taking a parking spot, or every truck takes at least 2 parking spots, and there's 12 spots outlined on your ordinance that's attached, correct? This is 12 spots that you provided to us, 12 parking spots. So I'm not crazy. This may only fit 4 trucks, but you have outlined a designated area of 12 parking spots.
The trucks are large, so you can't fit into a spot.
Right, so 12 potential customers can park in Carnegie with our parking problem here. It's these ones right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. This is a dark copy.
Steve, how many spots are designated?
This is your official attachment, attachment 1. There's 12 spots out. There's 12 spots.
That's for cars then.
12 parking spots are being taken for your ordinance. If you say your ordinance now isn't sufficient, then that's fine. Maybe it's not sufficient. Your replacement ordinance is not agreeable to me as a business person in Carnegie.
This is not the draft area should be outlined. I can guarantee you, it is,
That was the first draft.
this is not even the right one.
So I think you need to rethink, take into consideration what our issues are, and reconsider what an ordinance can be. That's going to be sufficient to protect the businesses in Carnegie that have
Well,
come in
when
here.
we were here before and you came up and you spoke, and we did hear you when you were like, I don't want them, we said, so we're all in agreement, we don't want them on Main Street. And you said yes.
I know, I'm afraid I didn't realize that you were leading me into, that I assumed Main Street was the business district because that word was also used. I didn't realize that you were leading me into saying Main Street and not private property.
We weren't leading, but we said Main Street, meaning the actual Main Street, because there were safety concerns where Apis was having theirs.
Do you think that my business is on Main Street?
You are on Main Street.
Correct. I'm not actually physically in the middle of the street. I'm on Main Street.
So if
Those companies are also on Main Street.
Okay, you know what, we need to move on. We're going to table this motion and discuss it more, and we need to move on. Okay?
So,
Okay, do a motion to table.
Motion to table.
Second.
A motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Correct.
Okay. Motion C, motion to advertise ordinance 2453. An ordinance of the Borough of Carnegie, County of Allegheny County, Commonwealth of PA, adopting and accepting Sunrise Drive and Cedar Court right-of-ways and public portions of the sanitary and storm sewers and easements as shown on Presley Heights recorded plan, all of which are public improvements in the Presley Heights development plan.
second.
We have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Councilman Boyd?
Motion to approve the May 2018 bill list and bill list addendum.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, Steve, roll call.
Councilperson Sarsfield,
Yes.
Councilperson Freshwater,
Yes.
Councilperson Boyd,
Yes.
Councilperson Ganapari,
Yes.
Councilperson Papachek,
Yes.
Council President Demko.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Yeah, I move to approve payment application number 1 to Insight Pipe Contracting LLC in the amount of $1,008 for sewer work completed between April 1st and April 2nd, 2018 for the 2018 Sewer Facilities Improvement Project, contract number 2018-02B, aligning contract.
Second.
Motion and a second, Steve, roll call.
Councilperson Boyd,
Yes.
Councilperson Papachek,
Yes.
Councilperson Ganapari,
Yes.
Councilperson Sarsfield,
Yes.
Councilperson Freshwater,
Yes.
Council President Demko.
Yes.
Motion passes.
I move to concur with the high bid received by Red Zone Robotics for the Shaycog Gear 6 cleaning and CCTV preventative maintenance contract in the amount of $182,724. Carnegie's share is $27,000.
Second.
Motion and a second, roll call, Steve.
Councilperson Papachek,
Yes.
Councilperson Boyd,
Yes.
Councilperson Freshwater,
Yes.
Councilperson Sarsfield,
Yes.
Councilperson Ganapari,
Yes.
Council President Demko.
Yes.
Motion passes.
I move to approve change order number 1 for contract number 2018-02B, sewage facilities improvements, it's lining, in the amount of $4,928. Final contract amount adjusted for an increase in liner diameter from 8-inch to 15-inch for 224 feet of sewer.
Second.
Motion and a second, Steve, roll call.
Councilperson Sarsfield,
Yes.
Councilperson Freshwater,
Yes.
Councilperson Boyd,
Yes.
Councilperson Papachek,
Yes.
Councilperson Ganapari,
Yes.
Council President Demko.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Nothing.
And that's all I have.
Sorry.
You're welcome.
Public safety, we have nothing. Code enforcement, we have nothing. Committee reports, administration.
No, not this morning.
I have a comment regarding administration. I wanted to point out that our administrative team did just an outstanding job of managing the 5K function that raised money for the fire department this year. Those folks just, I mean, they get it done for the most part during the normal business hour, or during the normal business day, but we got an awful lot of comments from people that run lots of different races, how well run our race was compared to others that they participate in, and that's in large credit to the administrative folks that work for the borough. Very grateful.
You get your comment later. Get your comment later, don't worry. I'm separating, there's a difference. Remember, Keith, you're special.
Finance. Nothing for finance. Code enforcement, community development. Public Works.
Actually, I have a comment on something separates the Public Works group within our borough from all the other departments in that Keith brings his entire team to take care of the 5K, and they volunteer. They don't accept pay. They're out there, and they do this for other events as well, but for the 5K, they're up early, they're getting the roads closed, making sure everything's nice and safe. And every once in a while, Keith even comes to a meeting for planning the 5K, but his team does a great job. You can thank him.
Next, public safety.
Thank you, Madam President. I just have a couple items. First, for those that don't know, tomorrow marks this year's Police Memorial Day. It's an annual event. It's actually is turned into Police Memorial Week. But if you don't already, or if you haven't, when you see one of our officers or officers anywhere, please thank them for the job. We're very fortunate here in the Borough of Carnegie. I mean, I would compare our department to any department across the state, really. I mean, we have a marvelous chief of police, a great mayor. We're very, very lucky here in the Borough of Carnegie. And, you know, I personally thank them. And, you know, they never know when they leave their house if they're coming back home. So, and then it's also Motorcycle Safety Month. So just be aware with the warm weather that there's more people out there using motorcycles. Just take an extra second, check that side view mirror and stuff. They're just out trying to enjoy the road too. So let's keep them safe. That's all I have.
I have nothing to report.
No report this evening.
Volunteer fire EMS report.
Yes, we had 102 ambulance calls and 14 fire calls.
Mayor's report.
Thank you, Madam President. The police activity for the month of April 2018, criminal arrests and citations 20, traffic stops 111, traffic citations 105, parking tickets 203, and complaints self-initiated activity 855. I'm also very pleased to announce that the grand total of money raised for the fire victims was an incredible $41,324.26, and all victims have received their distributions. As I stated before, the efforts of Carnegie Elementary PTA, both Carnegie residents and non-residents, several churches and various other organizations, and Carnegie Borough, they did an absolutely tremendous job, so thank you all. On April 28th, we had our 11th annual Quantum Spirits Carnegie Volunteer Fire Department 5K Run and Walk. It was a great turnout, and the money raised was $27,809, which was a little over $3,000 more than last year. I want to thank all of the sponsors, participants, and the borough staff and DPW that dedicated their time and hard work to make it such a successful event. Coffee with CPD, the Carnegie Police Department, was skipped in the month of May due to some scheduling conflicts. However, it will be back in June, and we will actually be highlighting the women of our great department. So Officer Sanko and Sergeant Lee will be there along with myself and Chief Kennedy, and we will be at Carnegie Coffee Company again on Saturday, June 23rd from 9:30 to 11:30. And I look forward to seeing you there, and I encourage you to invite your neighbors to come. As I always say, it's a nice, informal but informative way to get to know the police and discuss issues within the community. With great excitement, I invite you to join us for our first annual East Main Street Farmers Market. It will be located in the East Main Street lot across from Carnegie Coffee Company, and will run every Sunday, June 10th through August 26th from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. We are now accepting participants, and the deadline for submitting applications is May 25th. The cost is $10 per week or $100 for the season. If you should have any questions or would like an application, please contact Lauren Gossett in the administration at the Borough Building. And we will be advertising this on Facebook, the Borough website, Carnegie's Happening, and the Signal item. But please help spread the word, because I think this is something really cool to bring to the community, and I just want to make sure that it's successful.
When's it opening, Stacy?
June 10th, yes. On Sunday, May 27th, Carnegie has its Memorial Day Parade. It begins at 1:45?
1:45 is the official start out of here. We don't hit Main Street until 2 o'clock.
Okay. 1:45 out of the parking lot here, and is followed by a ceremony down at the Legion. Please come out to remember the men and women who have died in the line of duty. This coming Monday, May 21st, will be the Vets Roll, where we've lined the streets and they all come in and they have lunch at Cefalos. In past years, we have had the elementary school kids, businesses and residents come down and line Lydia Street to greet them. Unfortunately, this year, the kids cannot join the event. So I urge you that if you're available, to please come, tell as many people as you can to come. They are supposed to be arriving anywhere between 11 and 11:30. This means so much to them, and I want to make sure that they receive a big Carnegie welcome and that we show our support and thank them for their service. Lastly, June 3rd from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Carnegie Park is the 4th annual Dogapalooza, and this is hosted by Christy Crawshaw, and there will be the ability to receive low-cost vaccinations, pet licensing, animal costume parade, a free doggy bathing center, vendors, food trucks, and bring cash for raffle baskets. If you should have any questions, you can email carnegiedogapalooza@gmail.com. In anticipation of Memorial Day, I just want to close with a very short poem, Memorial Day by C.W. Johnson. We walked among the crosses where our fallen soldiers lay, and listened to the bugle as taps began to play. The chaplain led a prayer, we stood with heads bowed low, and I thought of fallen comrades I had known so long ago. They came from every city across this fertile land, that we might live in freedom, they lie here neath the sand. I felt a little guilty, my sacrifice was small. I only lost a little time, but these men and women lost their all. Now the services are over for this Memorial Day. To the names upon these crosses, I just want to say, thanks for what you've given. No one could ask for more. May you rest with God in heaven from now forevermore. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. Okay, now we have our general public comment.
Hello, my name is Nicholas Trelawney. I'm part of the Public Days family. We live in Smoky Village here. And I really just want to talk to the council about some issues that I think the Carnegie has been treated unfairly in the past. And this will go directly into the public days anyway. The first issue, and Steve Peter will know about this, is 207 Mansfield. On January 31st of this year, my brother, Jeff Seffen, Terry Roma, and you met. My brother asked you about occupancy and use. He was promised a response by the next day, and 2 weeks went with no response.
I have spoken to council about that. I will accept that as far as not getting back in a timely manner. I had spoken to Mr. Steffen, and from our conversation, I was under the impression that there was going to be some homework done as far as just with what the past use was and remediating it for any chemicals and anything like that. It was wrong on my part. Obviously, it wasn't intentional, but I did.
Back out of the sale, the purchase back, we had money down on it because of county or we were doing a response. We were trying to get all this back.
I understand
That
that.
was before the fire.
Correct.
And then 101 Railroad Street, we've had quite a bit of interaction with council recently about that. On March 12th of 2018, Joe Lucas said that our request would be treated as a right to know. And
Received 2 responses.
But we didn't receive the full of all the information we asked for. On 424, our lawyer gave a formal right to know. We were still waiting a response for that.
We got the response last, we responded?
Yes, you had responded.
Has been sent.
All the information?
Yeah, all the information that we have in our possession.
I'm not seeing it yet. So did that go out?
Nick, if I can just add to that, we were still gathering some of the information. What we had sent back to the lawyer was a grant for some extension. Everything should be back by the end of the week.
So it's not us.
We had replied back to the right to know request.
He just said everything.
I thought you did. We're still waiting for the extension. We did send the extension. I wasn't sure if they had asked for it.
So everyone here knows, we tried to move our office to 101 Railroad and have a warehouse in as well. Carnegie Borough refused to grandfather. It's the old air conditioning building on 101 Railroad. The company that's there now is called ASA. Carnegie Borough refused to grandfather any use. They gave us a laundry list of things that needed brought up to code in order for us to occupy it. And so we get backed out of the sale. And a month later, CJ Partners bought it, and we've been in the building in the past 2 months. And none of the things on the list from Terry Roman granted code were done. So preferential treatment to a different business or family.
Well, that's not true. That's
That's
absolutely not true.
Is everything brought up to code as Terry Roman's list?
First off with the
See if I have
grandfather.
it.
First off with the grandfather.
Here, I have it.
First off with the grandfather. Terry Roman initially made a decision to deny your request for an occupancy permit based on the fact that it wasn't zoned properly for a warehouse. That issue was brought to my attention. I have emails documenting the fact that we believed, my opinion, was that it should have been grandfathered. And there were emails sent to Michael.
So
saying
in
that
the
it should have
email,
been.
reference for you, and you were referencing email dated on, it's like November 12th or December 12th. Terry put a stipulation in there that had to have an affidavit of occupancy and would have to sign a permit for the sale. According to that,
We can't stop you from going through this.
I'm telling you, for us to get occupancy, we would not take occupancy of the building until everything was brought up to code.
That's a different thing than what you said about the grandfathering of the zoning.
He said he refused to grandfather it.
But after I discussed it with him, he changed it.
I have emails later from saying we refused.
Well, I have no
I can print it
idea.
all up for you.
Well, I have no idea about that, but I do have emails from me telling him that it should be there.
Well, the email from you saying it should be in being grandfather are 2 different things.
Okay, well, that's one thing. The second thing, and I think we've explained this to you, what Terry, for your occupancy permit, did the inspection, there was construction going on in the building, and there was, in fact, I wasn't there.
I was.
I can tell you what I've been told, was that there was supports holding the building up on the load-bearing, what do they call it, the load-bearing.
Regardless, you're getting lost in the use.
No, I'm not. So what Terry, in this inspection report, indicated that he wanted the structural engineer to come in and verify that in that condition, the property would be good. When you backed out of the sale, which we have no control over whether you go through with the property
We're not
purchase
buying
or
a
not.
property that we can't occupy.
The new purchaser came in, and Terry went down and did the inspection, and those temporary structural supports were removed.
What about the updated electric? What about the updated means of egress signs? What
When
about
he
the
did the
updated unit
inspection,
hardware?
what I am told, and I didn't do the
I'm just telling
inspection.
you, I did the inspection,
What I am
and
told.
I was in the building a month ago.
Okay.
None of it was done. I have pictures to prove.
Okay, what I'm told he did was he went back in and he did the inspection way after the sale for the occupancy permit, and it was all up to code. Whether he makes it, whether you pass the inspection for the occupancy permit has no bearing on whether you go through with the
Without
permit.
doubt, I'm not buying a building that I can't occupy. And what I'm asking is if everything on that list was satisfied for the new owner as it was required for the
Well,
short
according to what
purchase.
Mr. Rhodes told me it was.
Okay, so you're on record, minutes were recorded for that?
Sure.
Mr. Rolla told you it is?
He told
And
me.
can I have a response from Mr. Rolla, or do I need to formally request that as well?
Well, he
And
didn't.
everything on that list was.
The only response, the response I know was the one that he told me when I was talking to him.
And I'm just asking you to have it more formalized so I can have it run by my lawyer and know that legally
Well,
everything in that building fits that.
He's not required to put that into writing.
So it's just hearsay now?
No, it's not hearsay, he told me.
Well, can you tell me if everything on that list is on?
I'm wording to what he told me it was.
My next question is concerning the fundraising that Carnegie did, and I think it's wonderful. Did the Carnegie Borough administrator set up that fund, that GoFundMe page?
Yes.
You did. I have a letter here from Mr. Lucas saying, operation of the Borough of Carnegie is in accordance with Borough Code 8 PACS 101. There is no authority in the Borough Code for the Borough to set up or administer any sort of charity. As there is no authority granted to the Borough for this purpose, the Borough lacks the ability to assist. My brother had asked a question and you denied it.
And I responded to him, where you're going with that question, I've answered it.
But I'm just telling you, the Borough said to us in a formal letter from you that they could not
Right.
help set up anything, but they
Because
did
you're
do
talking
it.
about two different things.
I am not.
No, you are, you're talking about two different things, though. Explain this to Michael via email too.
And I've seen all the emails and I'm straight up asking you. And I'm grateful for the charity, but my brother asked for some help, setting some
Okay.
things up so that the family of the deceased could be recognized in the charity. But I'm just saying, you have no authority for the borough to set up or administer any sort of charity.
Correct.
All I'm saying, okay? And my next question is it common practice for the Borough of Carnegie to charge the property owner with fire loss for both police and public works and structural engineer?
I would like to speak to that.
Yes or no? Is it
No,
common-
We don't do
I'm-
interrogation.
I'm not asking a straight up
No,
question, is it
no,
common practice?
No, okay? Your insurance company sent our borough manager a letter asking for the expenses for the police and all of that, okay? Now, our borough manager got that information together for the insurance company who asked for it, okay? He sent it to the insurance company, copied Michael on it out of courtesy. He didn't have to do that. He copied Michael on it. Your insurance company asked for that. We did not bill Michael. We did not bill anybody for that. Your insurance company asked us for the cost of that, and that's what our borough manager sent.
And I'm just
And it
telling
was
you,
copied to your brother, and your brother is saying that we are billing him
I'm
for
asking
this.
you-
That is so not true.
I'm asking you, is it common practice in the Borough of Carnegie to do that?
Is reported.
Has anyone done that? I have the bill right here, and I have the check. So,
Provided.
No,
I have the
That's
check.
not the way it
that's not-
works.
It's not.
You weren't sent a bill.
You were not sent a bill for this. The insurance company asked us for that information.
And we're paying it.
So, no, you're not. The insurance company, if anything, would pay it. You don't pay that. But you were not sent a bill. So that is very incorrect, and you should take that check back, or we'll just rip it up, because that's ridiculous.
The provision.
You were never billed for that. The insurance company asked us for that information. We sent it to the insurance company, we copied your brother on it, and he's
So
going to
you
run
think that our
all the
insurance
time telling
policy
everybody
works?
that we're billing him for all our
I just want you
services,
to know, the way
which
the
is
insurance
not
policy
true.
works is it is
Take
one-
this check
excuse me,
back,
ma'am, can I
please.
speak?
Take
It
that
is
check.
one bucket, right? So that comes out of our bucket. There is not separate things that get paid, so that comes out of our bucket.
Nobody says we're even going to ask for it.
I have to.
That's what I'm saying, you need to get your facts
You don't
straight.
actually pay for it.
We
It
are
comes
not-
out of the escrow.
The escrow doesn't have to be paid if we have a signed demo contract prior. So we're working on having a signed demo contract.
We have the signed demo contract, we just received it today.
Just telling you, I want to make sure that was paid, I don't want any
No,
debts.
take that back.
I'm not going to take it back.
There is no bill for it. So that's incorrect, you should get your facts straight.
The bill that was sent was at the request of your insurance company.
You wanted to tie up all loose ends, sir?
Well, that's up to you entirely, but that bill
You're
was
not
sent
tying
at
up
the
loose
request
ends, sir.
of your insurance company. So, take that for what it is.
I paid the bill.
Anybody else?
John Ferry, 34 Bridge Drive, obviously Carnegie. May I ask the members of council, whether it's recently or even a few months ago, has anybody taken a recent drive through Carnegie Park? Are you familiar with the dumping site at Carnegie Park? So I will pass you out some photographs. I would hope that they would be helpful to you.
Are you talking about Carnegie Park or Schuyler Field?
Carnegie Park. Now, most municipalities value their public parks. Every adjoining municipality treats a park like it's a treasure. I'd like to show you our treasure of Carnegie. You can pass these along. This one is for the solicitor. I want you to take particular attention to the bituminous waste. I'll begin my questions in the following manner. Does Carnegie Borough have a registered operating permit from the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection for this dump site? Has there been a chemical analysis report on file with the Department of Environmental Protection or the Allegheny County Health Department? Think about my questions so far. Also, I meant to state at the beginning, as I introduced myself, I have about 5 issues. So let's say 2 minutes or 3 minutes per issue. Do I do all 5 or do I come back 5 more trips to the podium? Is there a chemical analysis report on file with the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection or the Allegheny County Health Department? Is Carnegie Borough in compliance with all governmental agencies on all material dumped at this site? If Carnegie Borough does not have compliance or permits as required for the dump site, then Carnegie Borough is in violation of illegal dumping. Right in the photograph, bituminous waste as per photo is illegal by the Department of Environmental Protection. Municipalities are not exempt. In addition, you have wood, logs, and biohazard. In addition, concrete, steel, and rebar. This is our treasure, Carnegie Park, and it's been made a dump site. Who is responsible for this?
I am. We are not dumping Carnegie Park, we are cleaning it up. That was a dump.
It's been that way for years.
No, we're cleaning it up right now.
It's been that way for years.
Okay.
On Thursday morning,
John, let him speak.
on Thursday morning, I'm calling the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental
That's fine.
Protection. That's my right as a resident.
Yes, it is, that's fine.
And what you've created up there, what this council
We
has
created- we're
created up
cleaning it up right
there
now.
is a total dump.
We're cleaning it up, we've got hillside, we're cleaning everything up.
Nothing has been cleaned up. Let's go to issue
We're doing
number
it now.
2. Let's go to issue number 2.
Nothing gets dumped over the hill, nothing.
Number 2, why in holy name is there a dumpster box sitting in the middle of this mess? Are you advertising
Because we're
for
cleaning it up.
Republic Waste? We'll go to the next item. Public safety. Has anybody ever heard of a Ventrac 4400Z? I'm going to give you a little insight on that. Repeatedly, Borough Public Works employees have taken these rest-cutting machines and tried to leave the Public Works Department and go a distance of 1.5 miles to get to a destination to cut grass. I called Ventrac and I spoke directly with the engineer who designed the machine. His statement was maximum speed, 10 miles an hour. Not recommended for a mile and a half or 2 miles and the return trip back. Consumes too much fuel, too much wear and tear on the machine, shortens the machine's life. But the employee in the picture, I followed him. Going down back alleys, tried to be hidden because he wanted to get to the final destination. And the entire time, he was wearing a headset, not for ear protection, AM, FM radio. I kept blowing the horn behind him, wouldn't stop. Had to pull up alongside him, finally stopped him, and he says to me, "What do you want?" I says, "I want to take your picture." So, this is the third time I've approached this council. You're beating this piece of machinery to death. Let's go to the next issue. During the April meeting of the Shade Tree Commission, the meeting was almost over. And I don't know where this came from. The name Phil Boyd was mentioned. And it struck me at the time, so I asked Councilman Sarsfield, "Mike, whatever happened with the Phil Boyd thing?" I want to show you graphically Mr. Sarsfield's response. "It's over. It's over. It's all done." Now that only convinced me that the August meeting, where we were put through making a vote one way or another, I had misgivings of the August meeting. I had even more misgivings after watching Mr. Sarsfield's response. But what happened next needs to be brought to the attention of Carnegie Borough Council. This April meeting was April 9th, I believe. 24 hours later, after Mr. Sarsfield said, "It's over with, it's done," and everyone at the table heard him, 24 hours later, there was an unmarked car at the top of my driveway. The gentleman got out, produced proper photo identification along with a gold badge. And apparently, he had questions of me. And I had numerous questions for him. So Mr. Sarsfield, it's not over, it continues. I'm rescinding my affirmative vote of August. Now that I have more information on the subject, I think that this was nothing more than a camouflage cover-up treatment to begin with. And as I got to view the videos and the pictures, 4 Carnegie Borough dump trucks, 1 backhoe, that's 5 employees to run that stuff, and the Public Works manager as well, that's 6 employees. This was an event to behold. I have total misgivings that Mr. Boyd should be left totally off the hook. Coming up on a few more, gentlemen. Here they come.
John, can I address that?
I'm going to continue with my issues, and I will say the following. The dump site at Carnegie Borough is a disgrace. And if this Borough Council has the care, custody, and control of well-being, safety, and money management of this community, I give you an F grade so far. We'll move forward.
And when he's finished, you can respond to that. You have every right to respond to that, Phil.
One resident was unable to make tonight's meeting. I'm going to speak for him. He asked me to speak for him. George Hanshaw, living at 36 Sigrid Drive, Carnegie, Pennsylvania. This is a 25-year resident of the community. He's also a school board member with the Carleton School District. So he has credentials as far as I'm concerned. He observed a tree being cut right down over here in this parking lot, the very first tree. He immediately called the borough manager. The borough manager's response right at that moment was, that was approved by Marlene on the Shade Tree Commission. We have approval to do that. Now that immediately concerned him, and he began calling several Shade Tree members, and we were learning for the first time that these two trees in question that we had affirmed were the responsibility of the building or property owner were now being cut without any notification to the Carnegie Borough Shade Tree Commission, which has the responsibility of care and preservation to this community. By the time we got into it, a total of 5 trees had been cut down. Now, quite honestly, 3 of them were cut down without any total regard because they have nothing to do with this man's business location or the proximity of his building. This gentleman, with all his whining and complaining, and whoever got involved with making this decision, and I'd love to know who the person was that was responsible that says, okay, send Public Works, start taking care of the problem. I want to know the person that ultimately is the responsible party for doing this. You created a blighted area. What little bit of greenery we had left in this asphalt jungle down here is gone.
So don't care about the guy building?
We're going to come back to him right now. Right now. If the tree and the 2 trees in question were on the sidewalk in front of his building, that's called right away. Those trees belong to Carnegie Borough. Let me continue. And he has to maintain his sidewalk, and he maintains or trims or cuts the trees. That's his responsibility as a property owner. Apparently you don't know what the ordinance is all about. Apparently you don't know what the ordinance is all about. Now, the only reason why they stopped cutting 5 trees, quite honestly, not because they were out of manpower, not because they were out of dump trucks, not because they were out of fuel, they ran out of trees. They cut them all. What a disgrace. I can't give this council very much of a passing grade, or maybe you just don't know what's going on here. So I'm going to ask you figure out which of these items you want to put in chronological or first order business. Do you want this community to stand up and have preservation for the future generations? Do you want to accept responsibility for mistake after mistake after mistake? Let's come back to that piece of machinery for a moment. Every piece of machinery that I've ever wanted, I had to pay for it myself. When it broke, I had to pay for the repairs myself. When the employee broke it, I had to pay for it myself. When I damaged it and abused it, I had to pay for it myself. Nobody understands paying for it because it's not coming out of their pocket. Now, anybody driving that machine illegally on the roadway, it's not legal on the road. Is it laziness? You don't want to load it on a trailer and safely transport it to its destination? Or you're going to plead, I didn't know what my employee did.
We have 10 properties throughout the borough we're cutting too, not just Carnegie Park. We have 10 properties we're cutting. On the way, he's cutting properties out there too.
That doesn't justify the excessive wear and tear and diminished life that you're taking out of the
It does justify.
So you got a garbage dump out at the park.
Mr. Ferry, we are letting you speak and say everything that you want to say. Let them respond. You're not letting them respond to anything. You just keep talking.
Judging by his evasive driving,
Let him respond,
he didn't want to be seen. He didn't want to be observed. he sure as hell didn't want to be stopped.
He's not hiding. He's not hiding. How are you gonna hide when you're going through an alley? There's houses of people there.
How about operating the machine with an AM/FM
Okay,
radio?
wait, he's not finished yet. And say about the dump site supposedly at Carnegie Park. Explain
The
that.
dump site, we're
And
cleaning the
the-
whole dump site up. That's what we're doing, that's why the dumpster's there. We're cleaning it all up. Even the hillside over there, where there was stuff dumped in the back, we're cleaning it all up. We are not dumping there anymore. We're hauling everything away.
What's there right now, this very moment, is illegal.
If you cut down branch where like that and leave, that's what we put
It's
that.
dangerous to ask me geographically where you should put all your dump material. That's a dangerous question to ask me.
What do you mean it's a dangerous question to ask me? That's where we dump things, we get rid of it. Do we haul it away? I'm not gonna haul one truck away.
You have a collection of years and years of
Yes, we do, and that's what we're cleaning up now.
That's a discredit to every resident in this community. Now, apparently, trees do not have a value to this municipal government. It's very obvious.
John, you have 3 more minutes. So go.
Trees do not have a value. So just indiscriminately cut them down and then send out emails that cover up the facts. Who is the responsible person that got that event started?
The owner of the building.
No, he doesn't run Public Works.
The trees are.
He doesn't run Public Works.
One tree crushed it, his line's crushed. He can't do nothing with that, to that stump out of there. And the roof is all.
Why wasn't the Carnegie Shade Tree Commission notified of the so-called damage?
And you seen the sidewalk down there too? All the water's going to sidewalk, and that sidewalk is keep lifting with those trees there.
Every one of these parking lots have the same sidewalk problem.
Well, his is going to his building.
And
Trees are in the
previous
parking lot.
councils have run away from parking lot maintenance. That's been their story.
Well, parking lot, the road, we took every tree out of it when you redid that parking lot.
Well, it remains to be seen. You don't have a proper operating permit at the
We got
park.
nice rain guards in, don't we?
You don't have a proper operating dump site permit at the park. You're not in compliance with the Environmental Protection Agency. You are cleaning up, but it's taking you years.
No, we just started. We just started.
Does this sound like a reprimand coming from me? These things bother me immensely as a resident, as a property owner, and being on the Shade Tree Commission. I'm not here to be a tree policeman. I'm here to help this community. Okay, that property owner got what he wanted. You cut 5 trees down and it looks like a sore ass. Now I'll give you a chance to respond. It does look like a sore ass down there.
You want to explain to him again about what the tree was doing to
I
his
just told him
store, in his building, in his sidewalk?
His roof is gone because of trees. That wasn't going to stop. And he would have been at this meeting even if he wasn't on vacation. He would have been at this meeting with the pictures and everything.
And then you forgot about the ordinance. It was his responsibility. He should have requested a permit, a full review, and then he should have paid to have it done. Was that convenient for him? Very convenient.
He is paying to have it done. He is paying to have it done.
How does anybody really know that or believe that?
Well, you can ask Stephen to check this out.
I don't know about you, Chief Kennedy, but it bothers me to see a piece of equipment illegally being driven down the road without a chase vehicle, without a safety vehicle behind it. Okay, going to location to location. They don't do this in other municipalities. They do it right.
Anyone else? Okay, does anybody have anything to
Just, stated, the mayor already spoke of the parade, but it's not just about coming out and having fun, but it really, the veterans that are in the parade, their family members, when they see the crowds of people,